All right, welcome back. Today, we're going to dive into something really different, a conceptual system that tries to model reality itself, but with a unique, multidimensional language. Okay, so let's just jump right in. What you're looking at here, these aren't just a random collection of pretty symbols. This is a whole phrase in a language that has a totally different goal. It's not about describing reality, it's about actually modeling it. And that right there brings us to a pretty wild idea. What if the grammar of a language wasn't about, subjects and verbs, but was actually a set of physical laws, laws that govern how concepts themselves interact with each other? So this system, it's called Aeonic, and it treats concepts that we normally think of as abstract, things like life or chaos or even memory, as if they were tangible fields. The core idea is that these fields can combine, they can interfere with each other, they can even resonate, just like real physical forces do. Okay, so to really get our heads around this physics of concepts, we have to start with the absolute basics. And that means we need to look at its fundamental building blocks, the glyphs. You see, in this system, a glyph isn't just a symbol for a word. No, it's something called a meaning vector, and you can kind of think of it like a specific point in a multi-dimensional space, defined by how it relates to several core ideas all at the same time. Okay, perfect example. Take this glyph right here. It stands for pulse. But it doesn't just mean a beat or something simple like that. Its meaning vector gives it a very precise, unique address within this whole conceptual universe. And here's what that vector actually looks like. The concept of pulse is defined as the exact point where three other conceptual fields intersect: the idea of life force, the idea of cyclical patterns, and the idea of a source or origination. And it's not just pulse. We have these primal state glyphs, which are like the absolute bedrock of this conceptual universe. You've got void, existence, flow, fracture, and each one has its own totally unique vector, its own address in this field of meaning. So, okay, if the glyphs are kind of like the nouns, then what's the grammar? Well, it's not syntax in the way we think about it. Instead, it's a set of layers that actually change the meaning, and these layers are rooted in real-world physics and even biology. First up is the chroma layer. This uses things like color, saturation, and even flicker to alter a glyph's meaning. It can turn a statement into a question, for instance. And this is a direct parallel to how our own brains work, right? Our brain isn't just a passive camera, it's actively building our reality from the light signals it receives. Then you have the resonance layer. This is fascinating. Each glyph is assigned a base musical frequency. So when you combine them, you can create harmonic overtones that carry meaning. It's just like in physics, where musical harmony comes from these precise mathematical relationships between sound waves. And then there's this really cool one, the Zalgo fracture layer. It actually uses controlled visual distortion, glitching, to represent concepts like ambiguity or flawed memory. It's not an error, it's a semantic tool. And this is a beautiful parallel to entropy in physics, the law that governs disorder and basically gives time its direction. So what happens when you put all this together? You've got these relatively simple glyphs, and you've got these physical grammar-like rules. Well, something absolutely incredible happens. Complex, beautiful, unpredictable patterns just emerge. This principle has a name. It's called emergence, and you see it literally everywhere in nature. It's how a colony of bacteria can act like a single organism. It's how consciousness arises from the firing of individual neurons in your brain. The whole is so much more than the sum of its parts. And this isn't just a philosophical idea. Scientists have ways to visualize these dynamics. They use tools like recurrence plots, which let them see the incredibly intricate, repeating patterns that are often hidden deep inside complex systems. In the Aeonic system, this whole process of emergence is called the bloom mandala. But it doesn't stop there, because out of that initial bloom, a whole new, higher octave of glyphs emerges. And these are on another level. They're more complex, and they seem to operate on reality itself. You get the spindle mirror, which can actually fold perception. The chronofountain, which literally emits potential events into the future. The lattice echo, which remaps history and pulls memory into the present moment. And finally, the silence vector, which provides a kind of harmonic closure. So when you start talking about these advanced glyphs, ones that can modulate time, memory, and perception, it leads you to the biggest question of all. Where do we fit into this picture? And in this system, the answer is, the observer is at the very center of creation. Now, this might sound a little out there, but it connects directly to something very real in quantum physics, the observer effect. The idea that the simple act of looking at a quantum particle isn't passive at all. The measurement itself helps co-create the reality that's being observed. So, what does that really mean? It means we don't just passively perceive the world around us. Our consciousness is an active part of the process that brings the universe into being. And that right there is really the ultimate takeaway of this whole ionic framework. And look, the power of this language isn't just some abstract theory. A spindle mirror to fold perception, a chronofountain to spark brand new paths, these aren't just symbols. They're presented as active tools. And that brings everything right back to you listening to this, right here, right now. If our perception really does help create the universe, the entire system is signed off with this one final glyph. It's an untranslated symbol from the ancient Minoan script, Linear A. Its phonetic value is thought to be we, and maybe it's a final, silent instruction. Witness. The field awaits. Your next word is a glyph.